Hi, Aries. Welcome to your timeless empowerment reading. This is for Aries sun, moon, and ascendant. This oracle card reading is timeless. I make my card readings timeless because everybody goes through different things at different times. If you are new here, my name is Debbie Dubois. Welcome to my channel. On my channel, we talk about empowerment, we talk about spirituality, and my favorite topic, we talk about the new incoming love relationship blueprint. We will get to that later in this video. If you would like me to be able to tune into your energy more in this reading and other readings in the future, I highly suggest liking the video, subscribing to the channel. That way you are transferring some energy and approval for me to tune into your energy as part of my collective. All right, so we're going to get started, and we are going to be looking at healing judgment around speaking. And I want to say that this topic is coming up a lot for people, and I find it interesting that we're in, I'm not an astrologer, I'll just say that right away, but we are in some pretty powerful planetary movements into Aries, which, of course, Aries is such a powerful masculine planet I want to say, I don't want to use the word war, but we're talking about, standing in power and truth. And now we're talking about speaking and judgment. So it will be very interesting to see where this reading goes. I'm going to use the Zodiac 180 because there's so much going on at a global level right now. I cannot help but think of those kinds of things. Yeah, we've got the map. All right, so we've got the map, which is about, exploring an unknown destination. And I don't think that anyone would disagree that right now we are, as a planet, on one hand, we're on an unknown destination because none of us knows how this is really going to work out. But at the same time, it's like we're exploring as we go. We don't have, we're reading the signs. We're trying to figure this out. And we got the fishing pole. All right, so we've got the fishing pole. And this is about self-reliance. It's about mentoring other people. It's also about connecting with nature, which to me says balance, and nothing says balance like scales and swords. So that is about due process, by the book, balance, law. Yeah, I knew this kind of reading was going to probably have something to do with what's going on at a global level. We got the universe card, which is really comforting. I love to see that card in this kind of a reading. And oh my gosh, we got the rainbow, which is wishes granted. This is really powerful. Powerful cards when it comes to, identifying where you stand in all of what you're observing around you. And of course, Aries does tend to be, depending upon your aspects, an outspoken sign, right? They say it like it is. And but we're dealing with just not speaking, but we're talking about judgment as to what you see, judgment as to how you interpret things. We've got the pillars. Again, we've got these cards that are coming out that are pretty global, because the pillars is about conventional, it's about traditions, the way things have always been, authority figures. And I think every single one of us understands that nothing is ever going to be the same when it comes to authority figures. We got the cabin. The cabin is about disengaging and closing off, disconnecting, going within. So there might be a little bit of information coming in about that. And we've got the changing card. And, and that it's actually appearing in a central position in this row. And that is that we're in a state of flux. Anything can happen right now. Look at this card. Everything's flying, right? That is where we are right now. We are in a state of flux where anything could happen. And so, from an empowerment standpoint, the question then becomes, what do you do? What role do you play? How do you show up in this? I got the labyrinth. And the labyrinth, it's about complexity. Wow. it's about the long way home. It's like trying to find your way home or sorting out a situation. Oh my gosh. We're reading the signs. We're trying to figure this out. And judgment, judgment is the central card in all of this. Yes, we're focused on speaking. And we got the sapphire. The sapphire is about mental force, spiritual insight, but it's also about life of the party. These cards are going to be fun to dive into. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and switch to the overhead view, and let's get more deep into these cards, shall we? Okay, well, these cards are extremely powerful when it comes to looking at what's happening on a global level. And the card, the main card that has come up is Judgment, and this is a healing card. So with Judgment, it's almost like you have to observe what's happening with a sense of knowing that there's a much higher perspective and a bigger picture of what's going on, and that everything that's going on is literally leading you, Aries, to a better place where there is hope, where there is abundance, where there is prosperity, where the wish for living free is granted. Living the kind of life that you want to live is granted. And I would say, these are the outcome cards that basically say, proper judgment is going to put you in alignment with this. So the way you're working on it and judgment is, we've got the map here, which means we're exploring the unknown. We don't know what's coming, but by using the energy of the fishing pole, we're able to explore, right? Explore the different aspects of our own self with the reliance on self, but also extending what we know to others. When we connect with nature, we are keeping in alignment with the universe, right? Which is the awakening forces. It is what connects us all. It is what gives us the higher picture and the higher perspectives. But I find it really interesting, the two cards that are right here in the center, which is Swords and Scales and changing. So we are definitely in a huge state of flux right now. I think everyone would agree. But we have to go through this due process. We have to go through, whatever the universe. See, we have to remember that the universe really is dictating all of this. And I think we tend to forget that this is not I want to say of mice and men, and I don't know why that comes to me. This is not something that is ultimately being handled by men, okay? Men are the avenue by which all of the changes are being made, but it really is at a universal level that all of this due process is being done. So, playing fair play, equity, hear me out. What I want to say is that we have the best potentials for the highest outcomes when we realize it's so easy to get pulled into the labyrinth, right? Looking like things are so complex that there's no way to solve the problem. You get lost in the maze. You're trying to figure out how to get out, how to sort the situation out. This is about figuring things out. This is about figuring things out. And the truth is that sometimes we can't just figure things out with our minds. We have to go to a higher perspective of the universe. And the cabin is basically saying, allow yourself to go within and detach to some degree. I mean, I don't think that the answer to everything is just, putting a bag over your head and not engaging with what's happening on the outside, but it is a reminder to you that all of your answers from the universe are within. And this is a very complicated situation to sort. I mean, what we're seeing here is we're dealing with the traditional structure, the structure of I call it the upside down. It's the disempowerment chamber. And this is what's coming forward right now to be completely cleared, restored, and made whole and made right. And it's very easy to be pulled off of your knowledge that the universe is in charge and to, I want to say, become fearful. I mean, who can't see the temptation to become fearful? I don't think of Aries as a fearful sign, you know, but here's where judgment, and I'll just put these like this because this is really what we're working on. This is, I want to say, a focus of this area of healing is to judge the situation fairly. This is going to take a lot of the sapphire energy. Okay, that's going to be spiritual insight and wise judgment. And this is something that, again, your connection with the universe is what's going to bring that to you, if that makes sense. So, tumultuous times that we're in, um, if I go into the guidance of my inner knowing on the judgment and the speaking with regards to this, is maybe in terms of judgment is to reserve judgment, except in knowing that the higher power is in charge. It's so easy to paint characters into particular positions, either hero or foe. They're either your protagonist or your antagonist in the movie that you're watching. And at this point, the wise judgment is really to reserve judgment, because everyone is kind of playing the role that they need to play. And your role is, I want to say, knowing when to speak. Judgment is about knowing when to speak, when to say something, when to speak up. And I can't help but think, of is scrolling through some social media posts and always having this temptation to comment, right? I'm tempted to comment. I want to have my say, or I want to bring a word of wisdom. And sometimes the universe and my inner being will definitively tell me to comment. But there are other times when I'm tempted to comment on what I'm seeing, and I find myself really double checking in with myself to say, is this really necessary? This is where the judgment of, I want to say the Aries energy is the energy of, it is the energy of aggression. It's the energy of pushing that truth forward and that knowledge forward. And the judgment is calling you to just maybe stop and think what it is you're sharing, what it is you really do know, and maybe putting you into a position of, use your greatest wisdom. We are in uncharted territories right now. This is a complicated problem that is being solved at the universal level. And it definitely is challenging the particular structures and the powers. We got the swords and scales here. But this card is like, I want to say this is the energy of using your judgment wisely, using the judgment wisely and speaking wisely is you're aligning with the rainbow energy. And so the energy of the rainbow promises, through using your patience, the word's perfect timing, that again, when to comment, when to not comment, when to say something, when not to say something. Patience pays off, right? Aligning yourself with that highest vibrational frequency of the rainbow is really what ends up creating that which you prefer. So I think that's a really powerful message coming out right now, Aries. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and clear the table. And we're going to take a look at the love aspect of the reading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in messages from your person, whether you know who they are, whether you don't know who they are. We've got some messages coming in, and I'm going to go ahead and get my cards right now. For this portion of the reading, we're going to use the Intuit Twin Flame Oracle. I want to take a moment right now to say that Intuit Oracle is the loose sponsor of my readings. It is my business with Kimberly Aria, and we create cards with keywords on them. I use them every day. We have, I don't know how many different products that we have, including tarot, and angel oracles, and of course, I use the Zodiac 108 and the Intuit Oracle all the time. And the Intuit Twin Flame Oracle that we're going to use for this portion of the reading can either really be messages from your person, and sometimes it's messages from your higher self. So we're going to go ahead right now, Aries, and we're going to find out, what does your person, this is your counterpart, this is the person that's coming in for you, no matter what the timing is, whether you know this person or don't know this person, doesn't matter. This person exists, and we're going to find out what they want you to know. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's find out, what does Aries need to know? This person misses you. So if you know this person, there's a possibility that you're running from each other. That is a very big possibility. Or maybe you've stopped running, they're running. But if you don't know this person, this person still misses you. This person is still looking for you because they also have the desire to be in union. This card says, clear the illusions of the 3D world. Don't take everything at face value. There's a lot more going on spiritually and energetically than you can see. Well, if that doesn't go along with our first reading, and why we shouldn't judge situations, because we are in the process of clearing the 3D illusions of this world, and that's what we're seeing come up. So even in this love reading, we are getting the message that this is happening. This person is asking for some energetic support, and for you to use the frequency of love to uplift them because they need your help. What I would say to that is you want to remember your own empowerment. You never want to think of someone as being so needy of you that it's your job to fix them. That's not really what this is about, in my opinion. I would say that this is more about the energetic support that you can send them, is you being in your own power, you being in your own inner balance, and that frequency of love will uplift them. All right, so whoever this person is, they're in a karmic situation and they're not happy. So this card says people, let's see, behaviors, people, or situations that are karmic are playing a role in what's happening with this person, and it's hard for them to see a way out. Well, I would say that there's a lot of people, especially if you look at what I've been talking about, is that the feminine is kind of far ahead. And that does not mean gender. That means those who have a connection with their inner being in a heavily feminine way. The feminine energies have been healing first. So more than likely, this person is working on healing their masculine, and that's showing up in karmic relationships for them. But it is those relationships that is helping them move out of that stuck position. Okay, so this person is feeling that the energy is stagnant. Triggers sometimes happen to break up stagnancy and help the energy flow again. And I want to say this to me feels like a higher self. Again, in alignment with this reading, this feels like a message from the higher self. It's not necessarily the energy between the two of you. If you know the person, it's possible that you could have stagnant energy between you. But I want to say, I feel like the stagnant energy is the status quo. It is the face-off that we've been having with the inability to move forward in our entire world, because of the fact that we are waiting for all of these triggers to happen to break out of that complacency state and to make new moves into a higher frequency. This is the same thing that's happening on the love basis, because love is about the polarities of feminine and masculine, and it creates a lot of the bipolar, or the polarity, or the duality that we're seeing right now. Those triggers are happening globally. And so this card is just reminding you from your person that when these things happen, whenever there's triggers of anything in relationships, we are trying to move out of the stagnant energy into a way more productive energy. So let's see what else. What other messages have we got coming in from your person or your higher self? This would be the counterpart to give you some wisdom, some additional guidance in this reading. Here we go. There's a lesson to be learned from this. Well, don't we all know it? we get it. Can we just get on with the lesson? Yo. So there's a lesson. Again, this reading is pretty consistent, isn't it, with the beginning? All right, the next solstice or equinox will bring an important shift for us. Draw another card to get an idea of what the shift may be. Let's do that. So we've got what? The spring equinox coming up. And I will not be able to tell you definitively when that is. Okay, an important shift around communication. This is a communication card. And this is saying that this person watches you on social media and the internet. It's their way of staying close and finding more out about you. This is probably more true, of course, if you know this person. But the interesting thing is that you may not know this person and they may know who you are. In other words, they may have already recognized the connection and be watching what you're posting. Or this doesn't have to be social media and internet. This can actually be in a personal situation where you see this person and you just don't notice this person yet. You know, they're noticing your energy, they're noticing your field. And I want to say that's related to, you know, maybe the equinox is going to, spring equinox is what's coming up. It depends on when you see this reading. Whatever the next solstice is or the next equinox is for you may indicate when this communication is coming in, because this person is aware of you. And that, of course, this is a general reading. So if it's your person and you have not met this person yet, then this would not apply to you. That's why I always say take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's just get a couple more cards here. So this person or this being is getting synchronicities. Now, I would say, of course, if you don't know this person, it doesn't mean they're not getting your name, but they probably wouldn't know they're getting your name. Or they're like, oh my gosh, I keep getting this name. Why am I getting this name? But they're probably getting the 1111. You know, they might be just seeing signs and synchronicities on license plates or on posts or articles or poems that they see, or, you know, they're feeling the energy of you coming in. And if, of course, this person is in your life, then, you know, then that it's exactly what it means. They are seeing your name, or they're starting to feel this continual synchronicity with you as part of what's happening right now with the blueprints. All right, let's go ahead and take this one. All right, so this is conversations with people that are in your life. And this person just wants you to know that when there are conversations, when things are playful and light, it really helps the situation. So it's kind of, and again, this is the judgment in speaking. How are you showing up in this connection? This would be more specifically for someone who is in connection with someone, is how are you choosing to show up? How are you choosing to hold your energy with this person? Again, please send energetic support to me. Is all about keeping yourself lighthearted and playful. You know, because there's a lot of tension right now. And of course, if you're having tension in a connection and in a relationship, you know, it can ease the stress of that incredibly. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick an Empower card for this to wrap up this reading. Let's go ahead and find out what the Empower deck has to say about this connection, about where you're at, what you need to know in this love relationship blueprint. Take your power back by claiming full responsibility for your life. This is probably one of the single most important lessons that we all need in the big picture as well as our microcosms. And that is by it, and this is what I'm saying about staying lighthearted, becoming aware of the energy and what triggers are for, to know that what's happening is that we're clearing illusions in this world. We're facing a lot of stuff, and and to be aware that there's reasons at an energetic level that probably that we don't even understand why this stuff is happening, but there are lessons to be learned from it. And it's so important for you to understand the role you're playing in I call it the installation of the new blueprint. Everything that you do, everything that you say, everything that you heal, every boundary that you draw is going to impact the entire, it ripples out to the entire matrix. Okay. It is what is allowing for the install of the new, and it's not new, it's the ancient blueprint. So we're reinstalling the ancient program, if you want to call it that, of the original love relationship. So this message here is, and when I want to relate it to speaking and judgment, is for you to understand it's very important for you to monitor what you are doing, what you are saying, and use your best judgment, because by taking back your full power and claiming responsibility for it, all of that is rippling out into the bigger picture and helping everyone get to where they want to go. So I think I'll go ahead and leave that there. Thank you so much for joining me, Aries, for this timeless empowerment reading. I also want to let you know that I did a pick a card reading. It is for love, relationship, messages from your loved one that you might want to check out. I'll make sure I put a link here in the description box. And I really appreciate it if you would remember, please like the video if it brought you some value. Comment if you have something that you really relate to in this reading, or maybe some other thoughts, or maybe even a question that you want answered in a reading. I would love that. That's the kind of stuff. I'm going to start doing periodic readings of different types of natures just besides the zodiac. So I hope you'll tune in for that. But and if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you'd like to be part of our community, we'd love to have you. So anyways, thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Bye.